Okay, let's get this puppy rolling tonight. So everyone who's here, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first webinar of the season, and we're excited to have Karen Lasuk joining us to talk about video breakdown and specifically VLC, not to mention the importance of video. If you were at our clinic in Edmonton, we talked a lot about the importance of video for self-improvement, and as well as a method we're using for evaluators to judge our officials and help our officials improve. So we're so happy you took the time to join us tonight. A little bit about Karen Lasuk. If you don't know Karen, I'm sure most of us do, but for those who maybe haven't had a chance to meet her, she is an amazing official. So other than just being a member of ABOA and Canada West, she is an NCAA official in the United States, and just recently worked for FIBA, the 2016 Summer Olympic Games, which was amazing. So we're so fortunate to have Karen here. She is a master of video, and I'm sure she'll talk a lot about how it's benefited her refereeing career. Just a couple of quick points before I pass it over to Karen. You'll notice there is a section on your screen for handouts. This is made available. There's 5 documents there for you. 2 of the documents you received via email when you sign up for this. It's VLC for Mac and VLC for Windows, so that's download instructions. So once you've seen the webinar tonight, and if you haven't already downloaded VLC, that'll give the information on that. Karen's blank deep dive form, which she'll talk about, and then 2 videos that we have. It's important that you get these videos on your computer because we do have some issues with GoToWebinar and choppy video. It unfortunately is not as smooth as we would like. So Karen will use it in her presentation, but I'd like to have you have a copy of these. We'll give you time to download it and take a look when we call for it, so you actually have the visual to see what Karen's talking about. With that being said, thanks again for joining us, and I will pass it on to Karen.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from lovely Seattle, although I don't know if it's as nice as it is at home, but it's beautiful here today as well. Hopefully you can hear me fine. Hopefully the connection here is all right in my second home of the world. So, video breakdown, the wonders of VLC. There are a number of people that I know that do, well, say they watch themselves and maybe don't for lack of feeling uncomfortable looking at yourself, etc., etc., not really sure how to navigate it, or just simply don't have the program or can't get the game film to go the way you want it to go. I will say this first of all before we get started. I know we have different avenues, different venues that we all work to get game film, but I'll say this. Carry a little flash drive, minimum 8 gigabytes with you. 16 would be even better. Fairly decent speed. Doesn't have to be huge speed if you're about 16 gigabytes. Carry it with you in your bag. Ask someone who's filming at your gym. Take it to them before the game starts. Please put this on my USB so that you have it, because I'll tell you, it's difficult to take clips off of some of these sites that you go to watch yourself work. And save yourself the grief. Just put it on USB and you'll be just fine. So let's get rolling here because this will take us some time, and I know we have about 45 to maybe max hours. So why watch yourself on film? Well, I can tell you from experience, it's really the only way to actually see your positioning on the court. And until you see yourself and recognize where you should be standing, where you should not be standing, if you're too far, too deep, not angled right, you can't make the necessary adjustments if you don't see yourself. And the only way you will see yourself is on film, because you come into a locker room, you have someone say, you should have been angled at 45, or you should have been wider. It doesn't compute until you see it actually on a screen. It allows you to see the how, the why. When you get a call correct, when you make an incorrect decision, you get to see why. You can see if you're looking in the wrong place. You can see if you're not focused on something that's actually in your primary that you thought wasn't. This is the only way you will see it, is on film. Helps you clean up some of that sloppy stuff. I tell you, when I saw myself the first time on film make a push signal, I almost barfed. It was so bad and so ugly, and I went, ooh, I got to clean that up, because I tell you, there's one thing I can own, and that's how I look on the floor. and how I present myself, how my body looks, what my body language, my signals, all that stuff, and it really truly will give you what you need to clean those up. Best way to gain muscle memory, if you see plays over and over and over, whether they're correct or incorrect, you see them over again. Watch as many times as you want. That's how you learn, so that on the floor, in the heat of the moment, bang, bang plays, you go, that's that play I saw 25, 30, 100 times. That's how you gain the muscle memory, is by film. And then again, provides an opportunity for immediate reflection, especially on pertinent plays that happen in a game, whether they are difficult plays, a bang-bang 50-50 marginal call, no-charge semicircle play. Maybe you make an error in a game, whether it be a rule mistake or you put the wrong shooter to the line or whatever. You get to see it and you go, how did this happen? What were we doing on the floor that we allowed this to happen undetected? Game deciders, this happens to all of us. There will be plays we have at the end of a game where we may or may not put air in our whistle, and it may determine the outcome of the game, even though we like to think sometimes we aren't that person, sometimes we are. And this is a chance to see it and go, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to be uncomfortable. But I tell you what, if I can stomach watching this stuff, I won't make this mistake again. And then you can share it with people so they can learn from your stuff. What I have here, and I cannot claim fame to this, a friend of mine named Matt Head from Oregon. I sat with him for numbers of hours and we went through how to make VLC tutorials that go onto YouTube. And as I'm sitting there with him, struggling through, fumbling my words and whatever, and he had already made his, I'm like, Matt, I'm going to just simply not embarrass myself, keep myself from that, and I'm just going to use yours. You're going to be the claim to fame, and when I make my own at some point and don't fumble through them, I'm going to use mine. So these are tutorials as to how to set up your hotkeys, as you can see on the first screen, for your VLC. It's a video off YouTube that Matt has made with instructions. You will have access to these, so those of you that are like, oh my God, it's going too fast, freaking out and all that stuff, you don't have to worry about it. You are going to have access to these. You will also, as Michael told you, will have access to the paper version of it if you're more of a paper and need to read it. But this will teach you how to, once you've downloaded the program, which hopefully you all have at this point, how to set up what's called your hotkeys. And here we go. Hopefully you can hear him.
VLC, preferences, on the hotkeys button, scroll until you see the jumps. This will set your hotkeys for how far you want the video to jump forward or backwards. And then you can also do this for the record hotkeys. So you just scroll until you find record.
Karen, just to come in, I don't know if the audio is going to come through particularly well. We're not hearing it perhaps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the video. So we're going to provide all the links, as Karen had mentioned, to all these shortcut YouTube videos. But if you want to certainly talk to it, that would be great.
Well, let me try this. Let me unplug my headset and let's see if people can hear it. Try it one more time.
In VLC, click on VLC,
Beautiful.
select Preferences, click on the Hotkeys button, scroll until you see the jumps. This will set your hotkeys for how far you want the video to jump forward or backwards. And then you can also do this for the record hotkey, so you would just scroll until you found record. Click change on the one you want to change. Select the hotkeys you want, click OK. Click save, and you are finished.
All right. Oops, there we go. So oh, sorry, you probably can't hear me very well. There we go. I got to plug myself back in there. So there is the first tutorial on how to set up what's called your hotkeys. And what I do personally, you don't have to get fancy. If you do not want to set hotkeys, I will give you a tip. You have an S, as in Sam, and an F, as in Frank, key on your keypad. If you use the S key, it's a slow key. So you want to slow down a clip. It will slow it down to 67%, I believe, at first, then down to 50 and even slower, but that slow, then you shouldn't be refereeing, let's be honest. No, I'm just kidding. So that's one key that you just automatically pretty much works, I believe. Then you have your F key, which is fast. So if you want to go fast or whatnot, then that's what you hit. You also have on your computer down arrows and side arrows. Your side arrows will should jump your clip back automatically itself, so you don't have to scroll it all the way back if you just want to go back a few seconds. And your other forward arrow should jump it forward if you would like to do it that way. So moving on. How to locate your downloaded game or made clips. So once you have figured out how to make your clips, which is usually, sorry, forgot one important key, it's called R for record. Shocking, I know. That one I believe is automatic. If not, I would suggest you go into your preferences, make your hotkeys R for record, makes it simple, S for slow, F for fast, and then I would simply, what I do is I just toggle with my forward and backwards. Your pause, your pause will be your spacebar. So if you want to pause something, spacebar works perfectly. Now, how do I find my clips that I've actually downloaded? They've gone somewhere in my computer. Here we go.
Opening videos when VLC is not your default player. Browse to your videos. Right-click on the video you want to play. Select Open with VLC.
That was tough, huh? Very hard, I know. Okay, back to where we were. Pretty simple. Again, it's much easier if you look at it on paper and or watch this again to find them. But all I do, I'm a Mac user. I've used both, but I just go into my Finder. I close all my programs, go to Finder, and just look for today. And you will see your clips there. How do we make video clips?
Clipping plays using VLC. Start the video, and a few seconds before you're ready to record, tap your hotkeys, and a few seconds after you are finished recording, tap your hotkeys. Otherwise, you will lose the beginning and end of the clip.
So on that note, the hotkeys, all hotkeys means is the keys that you have selected from the very first tutorial you saw that allow you to do your recording and whatnot. You choose what you want. If you want to have what's called a jump, you can jump forward 5 seconds, whatever, and you want to use J for jump, use J for jump. If you want to make it fancy and mess yourself up, I'm not this smart, you can go Command F1, whatever. I make it simple. I go R for record, like I said, S for slow, F for fast, and then I use my arrows. But you can use whatever you want and make your hotkeys your very own. Now obviously there will come a time where you need to put your clips from all your games in a particular place, and this tutorial will teach you how you can put your clips in a place that you want them, so they aren't just sitting on your desktop and or in your file and clogging things up.
Setting the file location for VLC clips. Click on VLC, Preferences, Input and Codecs button, then Browse, and find the directory where you want to save your clips. Choose, Save, and close VLC and reopen it. You are finished.
Now you'll, sorry, I have to keep plugging my thing back in. You'll see that those clips come up without a name. You will have to name your own clips, and for anybody that's named a file, I'm sure all of you have, you just simply click on it and you call it what you want. All of my clips, I personally, I put them in files for each game. I call obviously the file, the name of the game, and the date. It's important, I think, to put the dates. You don't want to have a pile of clips from, 2010, let's say, and you're now, going to 2017 coming up here, and you're like, why am I still doing that? And you go, oh, wait a second, that was from a game like whatever number of years ago. So make sure that you are putting appropriate names for appropriate things. How to set your VLC as a default player. Now, obviously, depending on the computer you use, Automatically, when you play any type of video, it will come up as whatever your machine is set to. Some people have MPEG, or not MPEG, whatever stream it is. I can't remember what it's called. QuickTime Player, yada yada. This is how, so that every time you look at a video clip, it comes up automatically as VLC. This is how you set that up for yourself.
Setting VLC as your default program to watch videos. Right-click on a video, click Get Info, select VLC, change all, continue, and the next time you double-click on a video, it will open in VLC.
So, sounds simple, and it is, but it's important to have it in the player that is user-friendly to you, and that's what this whole thing is about. For those of you that aren't Mac users, Windows obviously works the same program. So this is for the people that use Windows. A little bit different, but not hugely different. So how to find your clips using a Windows program.
Setting the default location for your VLC clips. In VLC, click on Tools and Preferences. Input and codecs, and browse to your file location. This will make it much easier for you to find your VLC clips. Click Save. Oops, and you are finished.
Sorry, I'll click out of there for a second. So a little bit different, but not significantly. All the stuff prior to this is the same. Your hotkeys and all that stuff, it's all the same. VLC opening automatically when playing films or clips. A little bit different than, obviously, a Mac. Here we go.
Setting VLC as the default video player in Windows 10. Click on Settings, System, Default Apps, scroll until you see Video Player, click on it and choose VLC. You are finished.
Karen, just a
Hello.
quick little note. So for everyone on the call, if you've noticed in the chat section, I have just posted all of the links for all of the videos that Karen just discussed. So what I encourage you to do is cut and paste those links and then plug them into your YouTube player or plug them into a document that you can then refer back to. So please, before the end of the call, make sure you go in that chat section and pull those clips.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael. All right, moving on. You received a document called a Game Deep Dive. While this is a fairly lengthy way to really truly analyze your game, depending on how much time you want to put in, let's be honest. If you really want to get after your game and really make improvements, and Michael can attest to this, he's learned how to do this himself, I know that for a fact. I learned it from a person that refed in the same league. It could take up to, I'd say 3 hours if you want to spend 3 hours. If you want to break down just a period or a quarter, pardon me, you know, it's going to take less time. But it's really sitting down and critically analyzing your game. So as you can see from the blank game review deep dive that you have, there's a legend there, and I'm sure you all obviously can see it, you can read it. There's coding, correct, call incorrect, and I'm sure that's very familiar to a number of you, and if it's not, then that's the jargon you should start using when, let's say, you pass clips on to a partner, if you've been the one designated on your crew to make the clips for the crew. This is the verbiage you should be using so that your partners understand it. So try to get familiar and used to it. These are the clips Michael has asked you. There's two, this one and another he's asked you to download. So at this point, Michael, I'm going to ask you, are people putting this on their desktops right now, or what's happening?
Yeah, Karen, let's maybe just give everyone a chance now to go to the Handouts section, as we mentioned, and take an opportunity, if you haven't downloaded, well, all of the documents, but certainly download both of the MP4s. And just so you'll have a chance to view this alongside Karen in case we have some choppiness on the webinar. So we'll give you a minute or two to download it, and then Karen, you can kind of get them to maybe take a look at it or pull it up as you're going ahead.
You got it. Oh, I better put my reading glasses on so I can see. My old lady eyes, you guys. It's getting mad.
Anyone that, Karen. You're a referee. You have perfect eyesight now until you stop. Come on.
Not when I look at paper, though. Thank God I don't have to look at paper. Well, okay, there's a scorebook. Oh, boy. Yeah. They should have readers for the a little bit older referees at the table. That'd be funny, actually.
All right, we should have given people enough time to download that. So,
all right. Okay, so when you do a deep dive, this is a 44-second clip only. This is just a clip, but I didn't obviously want to take too terribly long, but I want to teach you a few things about what I personally look at when I do a deep dive. So I'm going to be looking at the first scenario that catches my attention, whether it be positioning or putting players on notice, or maybe a foul we've missed or a foul we've called, or whatever it happens to be. So I'm going to let it start rolling here. I wonder, oh, I'll keep my volume on. And as you can see right away, I don't know if people can see this, me circling this or not, but right away you can see there's something of note right now. No, you can't see me circling that. Okay, at the very top you can see, you know, the tall girl kind of already taking exception to the other girl giving her a bit of a straight arm, but she's a bit of an actor, so just ignore that. But your antennas should be up for that alone. So right there, antennas are up. When we get to right about here, this is when I start looking at my deep dive. Let me just back this up a little bit. I don't know if you're with me or not, but I'm backing it up and I stop mine at 133. So if you want to join me at 133, 134, somewhere in that range. If you're with me, great. What I would, right now I'm already thinking about rotation. Okay, we have the ball obviously towards where I am standing right now, and I've got a partner looking to rotate. So right now I'm starting to think, okay, that's one of the first things I'm looking at in my deep dive. She correctly comes back, fantastic. The ball starts going the opposite direction, but now I'm focusing on some of the action happening here. We've got a lot of action going on here. So as I'm looking at my game film, I know I'm here. I've got a competitive matchup. I look to see what my partner's doing, whether they're focusing on where they need to be focusing, and whether my center, and whether my lead is focusing where they need to be focusing. And in this particular play, you will see we've already had the tall girl in yellow at the very top, mix it up a bit with red 15. So my attention, you can see my head right now, since I do not have a competitive matchup right now with the dribbler defender. My eyes, you can see my head, have already moved down to the post, just in case. So right about here, I'm going to back it up just a touch. I want you to watch number 8 in yellow right now. See the slap away? I'm going to back it up even a bit more. I want you to just watch 15 red and 8 yellow. Just watch them for a moment. All right. So right there, that's my first cue on my deep dive. So what I do on my deep dive for myself is I go to my chart and I go time. So I know that obviously if I look in the top left, I have the luxury of having that there. I go fourth quarter, so fourth cue, and I go 1:30. Official. Initials, KL, obviously me, and PC, my buddy. Position, obviously I am now new center, and she is lead. And the decision, in my opinion, is a no call incorrect on this particular moment. Type of play, I call it post action. And then I do a comment section. I'm going to move this over. And the comments I would put in here for myself as I'm learning and teaching myself about this play. This is what I feel about this play. The lead misses. Offensive. I call it a slap away. Okay, that is not allowed. We allow players to do this all the time. And we need to stop this. That is not allowed because you and I both know it's going to lead to something bigger. So I feel we need the slap away of defenders, legal hand in the post. That hand is legal. It's allowed to be there. The offense doesn't like it. Okay? This is the first miss. Then, now of course I'm giving you a little more detail than you need. Actually I'm going to do the whole play because it's going to continue on for a couple seconds. Offensive player, typo, receives the ball and plows the legal defender, in the chest. Offensive foul. When lead does not blow, center should come in with a secondary whistle. This is what I do with this chart. So now you get the benefit of seeing it. I'm going to back it up just a touch. Hopefully you're with me at 1:30 on the clock. Here we go. That's my next thing I put in my deep dive. So I'm backing myself up to 127 right now. So hopefully you can back yours up there as well. And in my humble opinion, this is clearly a no call incorrect. So what I do on my deep dive next is I let it play out a little bit more to 121, I believe I went to, somewhere in that range. We'll go 123, 123. I go PC, and I'm going to put myself in there as well, PC and KL. Sorry, hang on a second here. There we are. Okay. And I'm going to put, obviously, I am in center, and she's in, actually, I should put her first. Of course, I would send this to my partners, and I would go no call incorrect. And I would go post. And I like to flame it up for myself and go post plow. Boom. Offensive foul on number 8, yellow, gold, whatever you want to call them, NCI. We need a whistle. All right, moving on. As the play continues, we've got a little bit. I'm going to back up just a touch. So we've got all that stuff ahead of time. I'm backing mine right up to 126. I'll give you a second. That's the thing about this when we're doing this via webinar. We got to give you some time, and that's totally good. So I went back to 126 to let it play out a little bit. So we've got what I consider an offensive foul. Then we've got this stuff. We've got yellow trying to secure control of the rebound from red 8. Nothing there. I mean, that's nothing. Okay? We've got 14 grabbing the ball, and 7's going to come back and try to get it from her. And 14's smart. She just turns away and says, get out of here. That's nothing. I'm not going to even, really put anything in there. I call it an attempted tie-up, and I think that's a good no call. No call correct, NCC. We just play it on. Do I need to put that in there? Yeah, I would. In a normal situation where I'm sending this to my peeps, I would put that in there, but I'm just for a little bit of expediation here because we've already been going for about 30 minutes. I'm just going to let that one play out. Then we're going to let the play continue. So we've had the action earlier that we've missed. Now you can see the ball move to the mid-court and the lead has rotated over. I want you to back up to, with me please, to 113 on the time in the top left corner of your film, please. And I want you to take note of positions, first of all. Obviously, center, sorry, you guys can't see my cursor, pardon me. 14 has a ball. That's the center's matchup. We've got 5 red and 13, center's matchup. Center should also be able to look through to 15, whatever, because the matchup is not engaged. They're not on top of each other with the dribbler right now. So that's basically what center's looking at. We've got our lead who looks like he wants to rotate right now because the ball is clearly obviously on center side, and then he's considering rotating, which is smart and right. Then we have a trail who's focused where she should be focused, which is obviously on 15, and I can't remember the number of the other girl. I think she's 7, and then maybe taking a look at our taller girl there in yellow, number 8, who we just missed an offensive foul on, and I guarantee you everybody on the crew is thinking about that particular play. So let's let this play out a little bit. We have the lead now coming over. Lead's coming over, looking where he needs to look as he comes over, and of course the ball kicks back to center. We have the center, as you can see, rotate out to trail, and we have a trail official who has not recognized the center, pardon me, lead has rotated and has still not recognized, and has still not recognized. We have 2 sets of eyes on this particular play for a moment. That's a problem. That goes into my deep dive. So what I do next is at 107 on my deep dive, I go PC, which is my partner, and I go EV, which is the lead. So I go, I guess I would call her trail at the moment because that's where she is, and lead, and I would go IC, meaning incorrect, and I call this type of play, it's not necessarily a play per se, but it's called positional. And this is where I go, okay, we have a lead. I basically say, okay, I describe the play. Lead rotation, or rotational timing, I'll call it, is not the best for this situation. The old trail has missed the rotation and is completely zoned in on the guard play when she should be center. Okay, so that's obviously a problem. Go back to the play, let it finish out for you. Still no idea that the lead is rotated over. Still no idea. Still no idea, still no idea. And let me tell you, that thing you just saw just now, if you've played the whole etc., so that I'm learning from the play and I'm going to move on from it and not make this mistake again. So on that note, I'm going to move forward and ask you to get to the next video called Building Fundamentals, BP or something, BP Play or something along those lines. I'm going to ask you to go there, please, and download that if you haven't already. I would assume they both downloaded together. And Michael will let me know if they didn't, I am sure. So in this particular play, this isn't a big doozy of a play, but I thought it would be a good one. It happened recently. I thought it would be a good one just for an example for this. Not a huge play, but I could show you some other ones later if you want, but for the example of this, I'm not going to. On this particular play, I'm just going to let it play out, so you go ahead and start yours up and let the whole schmozzle play out, and you just have a look at it. So I wouldn't classify this as what I would call a significant play, like I said, but it's a play that leads to, because we don't take care of what should have been taken care of first, it leads to a foul being called when one should not have been called. And I mean, while this isn't a significant play per se alone early in a game or partway through a game, this is a significant play if we have a tie game, for example, and we are down to the wire. And we allow this to happen, and the end result ends up being what you see on this clip. So what I do with that sheet that you were sent, and I apologize for the bit of blurriness on this because I had to take a screenshot, they've changed PowerPoint, is this is how I fill out this sheet. So obviously I put the date and the teams involved in the game. I put the title of the play, which I called a double dribble not called leading to a foul. Then a description of the play and ruling, and as you can see, the ball's at the free throw line in a nutshell. In the trail's primary, the dribbler causes the ball to come to a pause, which is obviously an attempt to freeze the defender, and it works. And by rule, we know that that's not allowed. The double dribble violation is missed and or passed on. I just said it was missed. The dribbler continues down to the lead's primary, dumps the ball into the middle of the paint to the post, who, of course, is fouled on a shot, as fate would always have it. The lead official does have the correct call in favor of course, the team that violates. And then, as you can see in bold, I put the trail official needs to have a whistle on the double dribble preceding the foul in favor of the violator's team. Then I break down the positions. The trail's in good position, clearly sees the violation, simply needs to call it. It's an obvious double dribble. And then there comes that piece where we all go, well, I can let that little violation go. And then when we do that, unfortunately, a lot of times it ends up leading to something worse, which it does in this play. The lead, of course, who has a great wide-out position to start, and you don't see her at first, but then you see her at the end, she potentially could sneak a peek up to see this violation, but it is at the free throw line extended when it happens, and she really shouldn't be looking there. And also at the same time, she's not quite in a stationary position, so you know what? I get she doesn't see it, nor should she really be looking there. She also has engaged matchups in her primary. She's got bodies all over the place, as you can see from your clip. So you know what? That's where her focus needs to be. So this is really, truly the trail's play alone. And then we have the center, of course, who can be a helpful hand. However, as you can see in the clip, the center is on the, I made a bit of a typo here, the center has people running not only in front of her vision, but the dribbler is on the outside of the defender, which the center official cannot see. She can't see her cause the ball to hesitate, nor is it egregious enough for her to reach that far across in front of her partners to obviously come with a call. So what I do then after that is I look up the rule and the reference, and I give the page number, the article, etc., as you can see, and I cite the ruling. And I do this for my supervisor's benefit, but I do it for myself and my partners if I so choose to send it to partners. If it was bigger than this, I would send it because I want us all to learn. But this is more for me personally to help with my fundamentals of refereeing so that I don't create the same mistakes for myself for the season, because I want to improve, and this is how you do it. And then explanation to the coach. If the coach says, you missed a double dribble, coach, you're right, I missed a double dribble. What else can I say? I have to own up to the fact that I missed it, right? So in a nutshell, that's just an extra little piece of a little bit of game film, only on big plays, like I said. Big plays is where you want to use something like this when you need to send it into again, someone that needs to review it and give you an answer back, and just show them, hey, I'm willing to take the time to show you I'm ready to learn from this play, and I'm going to work on making sure this doesn't happen again. And that's what I've got for you in 41 minutes at this moment, with questions possibly coming, and if not, anything else I can help you with?
Very good job, Karen. Just give it an extra second for any more questions. I think everyone wants, if you haven't downloaded VLC, once you do get a chance to work with it, you'll probably want to refer back to some of the handouts and certainly the awesome videos that you provided. So while if you didn't have an opportunity to download it before, certainly revert back to this presentation or back to some of those links we sent. Let me just do one last flip for any particular questions. And I don't see any additional ones.
Thank God.
Okay, well done. This again, and thanks so much, Karen. This again for everyone. This was just a nice little introduction to some of the techniques that I know certainly Karen has utilized through her training in the United States that FIBA is now utilizing a lot in their training. So it's wonderful. And just to kind of emphasize on a few points for everyone before we close for the evening is we all need to start using the same terminologies. So that form that we've passed along, that's your blank game deep dive with no call incorrect, correct call, those sort of terminologies, we all need to get on the same page for consistency when we're talking to each other in-game, out-game, post-game with our evaluators, that we're using the same terminology. It's very, very important. And I think what's awesome too is to do one of these deep dives or do 2 of them per season, but you've got to utilize them somehow. You've got to learn from it yourself, but you've got to pass it along to your partners. And you've got to pass it along to your mentors so they can see some of the video and quickly reference some things, as opposed to just say, hey, can you take a look at my video? And they're sitting around for a lot longer than they need to be. So those are my 2 cents, but I know video's been amazing for me. And Karen, is there anything else you wanted to add before we close?
No, other than I am more than willing to answer any email questions, text questions, whatever, at any time, absolutely any time, if people want some help with this. Anyone that actually is comfortable and learns how to do this or already knows how and just wants to learn a few different things or take a few extra tips, if you would like to send clips that you'd like me to maybe help you out with or help you break down to do a fundamental, whatever, please do. I am always open to helping anyone that wants to look at a game film and get better from it, because truly it is the be-all, end-all to taking your game from where it may be to, for real, that next step really is.
No, you couldn't have said that any better, and it is so true. And you know, we are working, and we'll announce in the next few weeks or into December when the high school season kicks off some options for us to post some YouTube clips, and maybe we'll have Karen comment on some of them for you folks too. So thanks so much, Karen, for your time. Thanks to everyone who attended tonight. The replay will be put on our YouTube channel, and if you do have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to one of your ABOA members, and we'll be happy to help. Karen, have a wonderful season, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.